It's joyful season. We're in December. We're in Advent time. It's a good time. And this is one of my favorite. This is my second favorite season. I'm gonna say Easter is my favorite, but
that's a good choice.
Second favorite season, but it's a great season.
Yeah, it is. Happy first week of Advent, everyone. We decided since it's Advent, we'd talk about Advent.
Wow.
What? Where did we come up with this stuff?
Yeah, how does that even make sense? But, I mean, I just figured this out. I did not. So what is Advent? I just figured this out. Apparently, it's preparing you for the second coming of Jesus and the birth of Jesus. I always just thought it was the birth of Jesus, but
yeah, normally it's just like Christmas. Jesus was born. Jesus came to earth to celebrate.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It's obviously for just the birth of Jesus. But apparently it's also about this preparing you for the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, it's also the start of a new liturgical year. So we've got 3 things going on, 3 things to think about and prepare for. And since it's 4 weeks, there's more than enough time to do that.
It's true.
So, and there's lots of things you can do to prepare for each of those key points in Advent. The biggest thing, though, in Advent, I feel like people just specifically are just like, it's a time of preparation. It's a time of preparation. That's like the biggest thing about this month leading up to Christmas is we are preparing. And what you're preparing for, specifically the coming of Jesus. And you got to be ready. You got to be ready for when he comes. He already came and he's coming again. And we have to prepare our hearts and minds.
It's true. That's right. We also, you can fast, which is a really easy, just tangible way of, like, prepping yourself. You're like, oh, for this season, I'm going to fast from whatever you choose. And that's a good way of, like, just, like, this, I'm putting importance to the season, and this is getting me ready for the second coming.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, you don't have to wait for Lent to start a fast.
You
can do anything you want. And the cool thing about Advent is, and any time of the year, there are no specific rules on what you can fast on. So I'm still deciding what to fast with. I know that I'm a little late. I'm a couple days. I definitely procrastinated deciding. But if anyone's got any good ideas, let me know.
I mean, I can tell you mine.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a good time, I guess. I'm fasting from video games.
That's a good one.
So it's definitely gonna be interesting. I'm gonna have a lot more time on my hands.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes out of that. But
do you play a lot of video games?
I play a pretty good amount. Yeah, but there's definitely better ways to use my time, and this will be. I mean, it's going to be good because, it's going to be a struggle, and I'm going to give my struggle to the Lord, but then also, like, what comes with the time. I feel like a lot more, productive, a lot more just, like, time of prayer, a lot more time to just be with other people.
To do the things that you should be doing?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Just being, like, an adult.
Wow. Ouch. All right.
Slap myself a little bit.
I will say though, my small group is doing a little fasty thing together. It's not really a fast. So we did almost like a secret Santa, and we all drew a name for one of the other people in our small group, and we're gonna be interceding for them for the month. And then at the end, we're gonna be like, I've been interceding for you, and then just like give each other a hug, and it's gonna be great.
Wow.
That's
cool. I would think it would also be like a gift too, but honestly.
Yeah, it's optional.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got my brain working on things,
It's one of those things probably that's like optional, but like you really should.
You should, because you don't want to end up not giving the person a gift if you got a gift. That kind of like awkwardness.
Yeah, that would be.
Always be prepared with a gift, even if it's like a candle. Just do it.
Love candles.
Something else you can do is pray the joyful mysteries. They are prayed on Monday and Saturday. Normally, yeah. You can pray them anytime, especially because Advent, the third mystery, is the birth of our Lord. So pull out the joyful mysteries, pull out your rosary, and pray that. That's a really good thing to do once a week, 3 times a week. Every day. Trying to get to heaven, guys.
Feeling a little saucy.
Yeah. You want to take on something big. It is a lot to do a rosary a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's surprising how much 20 minutes can add to your workload of the day. But it's very rewarding, very rewarding. Another thing to keep us grounded in Advent, I didn't know this before, but the candles at church actually have pretty specific meaning behind them. The purple candles, the first, second, and fourth week candles, symbolize penance for purple. It kind of makes sense because the Lent is purple. Mm-hmm. This is a really good opportunity to go to confession if you don't go very often or you're trying to go more often. Use that purple candle as a reminder to, after Mass, pull a priest aside and be like, hey, can I do a confession for a few minutes? And they never say no. They legit never say no. I don't know. I've never been told no. I think it's their job to say yes.
Yes. Never call it a quick confession either.
Yeah, some of them...
Father J might go off on
you. Oh, you named him. Okay.
I am not afraid today.
Calling him out, but he's right. He's
right. He's just like,
You never know. And then the pink. I love pink, guys. Pink is my favorite color.
Is it really?
Yes, it's my favorite color. It's just so good. I know. It doesn't really suit my personality, but it's definitely...
The more you know.
The more you know. But yeah, the pink candle symbolizes joy and happiness for when Jesus comes. So on the third week of Advent, that's really the time to be reminded of like the emotion that comes with the birth of Christ. Like, God came in human form to the earth. That's just like so cool. And if I know that I struggle with like finding what quote joy is, and this might be a really good opportunity to just like delve into that. Really pray with joy and happiness for the season.
Joy is great.
Yeah.
Joy just hits a little different. Oh man, I love. Yeah. I know that wasn't much, but
no, it is. It's like you can't really describe it.
Yeah, it's
different for everyone,
and you know it. You know it when it's there.
Yeah. And it does come in different forms. Like,
oh yeah,
I noticed it can be paired with a lot of things. Like, for me, a lot of times it's paired with peace. And so, like, when I find peace, typically joy is very near in that moment. But for some people, it comes in, like, in heartbreaking moments and, like, in suffering somehow, you know? I feel like there's so many vehicles for joy to come and just, like, live in our lives.
Yeah, for me, it's like happy tears. I like start crying of happiness, and
that's
like,
awesome.
That's how I know I've hit like the point of joy. I'm like, oh, it's so great. Yeah.
I remember the first time I did that was when I got my AP score back for my English AP exam.
Really?
And I realized that I wouldn't have to take XPOS.
Wow.
I legit cried.
I'm happy.
As everyone just like cringes from the pain and all of the scarring that happened when taking that class.
Anyway, hard tangent.
Sorry.
XPOS.
Joyful tears, whatever.
Joyful tears.
But yeah, so I also want to give a shout out to Father Mike Schmidt. He's a great guy. He's got lots of videos. I'm sure everyone knows at least his name. But if you don't, look him up. He's really good. I was watching a video he put up on Advent, and he basically said, prepare for Christmas like you're preparing for death. Like, make this month a preparation as if you're going to die on Christmas Day. How do you want to live your life for God? How do you want to end your time on earth? And I was just like, wow, I needed to do a lot of changes.
Yeah, just like that's the mentality of just like leaving it all, just like there, and not like. I feel like it's just like as you're living, like you leave a little bit in the tank or whatever, like you hold back just slightly, but I mean, if you're like preparing, like you're gonna die, like you know it's gonna end. So why? So you're not gonna ration
Use it all.
You're just gonna use it all, and that's kind of the mentality we have to have with like preparing for it. It's not, where it's like we gotta go fully in and truly have ourselves like within it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean like sell all your possessions
No,
or like
no,
do anything physical because you know that you're probably not going to die. But mentally speaking, it's a really just good mental exercise and thing to take to prayer of like what are the areas in my life that I am not serving the Lord in, and then pick one and then go from there with your fast. Like video games. Like if you were going to die on Christmas, what would all those video games serve you? Nothing. So you take them away and it's great. It's a great fast.
I mean, I'll still have my achievements. I'm kidding. But there's also, I think like when thinking about Advent is like something that came, it was the three kings, right? The three kings, when they were coming, they saw the star, and they were just like, we're gonna go to it, and we're gonna find the Messiah, and that was like their whole like mentality. They didn't know where they're going. They're just like, we're just going to follow the star and hope for the best. And they were traveling. I don't know how long. I think it was like a month almost. I can't remember exactly. It was multiple days for sure. And it was just like, here, we're bringing gifts to the Lord. We're bringing gifts to the Lord for his birth. And that's almost like the Advent season. This is an opportunity for us to see the star of the Lord and bring him gifts for his actual birth, which is just like, I don't know, I like it seems so beautiful, and because it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know,
they often get like brushed away in the Christmas story, and they're actually really a beautiful representation of faith and just like perseverance. Like you're right, what were they going to? They didn't even know. They just like they knew. But there is no introduction. There is no one who was like, yeah, he's definitely going to be there, or where is he going to be? And the Lord sent them direction. And I think the thing that sticks out to me about this story the most is the gifts that they bring are actually, like, really unnecessary. Like, what baby needs that, you know?
Yeah.
No person really needs that. But it doesn't matter what you bring, because as long as you're doing an offering to the Lord, like the Lord doesn't need you to give up video games. Like he doesn't need it for himself. It's the fact that you are giving it up, and like that part of your soul is opening up more for the Lord to enter in. And that's like the beauty of giving any type of offering. It's actually like doing you good while showing your love to God.
Yeah, and even though like it's unnecessary, like the gifts that they did bring inherently had a lot of value. Like they were like super like valuable gifts. And so like when we're preparing, and like this is the whole thing with like just like fasting and everything. When you're fasting from something, or you're like preparing and you give something, like is this something really easy, or is just like something that like actually you struggle with, so there's a higher value to what you're doing? Like it's like, oh, I'm just, say you don't play video games at all, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna give up video games. What value is that to they're giving like their most valuable stuff to the Lord. So like there's just like so much more that goes within it, other than just like the fact that you are doing it, but what it is. And we don't want to give the Lord, like, he'll accept it, whatever we give, but like, I mean, why would we? You just like to a friend, you don't want to give a friend a bad gift. I feel like that's kind of the same idea we have to have when it comes to Advent. Like we don't want to give the Lord a bad gift. We want to give him a good gift, and like work for it.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, because I think that's the reason I haven't decided on my fast yet, because I'm trying to pick something that isn't ridiculous. Like I don't want to just like give up something random that doesn't actually affect my life, but I also want to do something that I know that I'm capable of doing, because it's also a fall I think a lot of people fall into, is like, oh, I'm gonna like run 10 miles a day for all of Advent. And obviously, like, I don't know, like, who, I'm not a runner, so that's super intense. I probably couldn't do, like, that for 3 days in a row. But, like, I'm trying to find that balance between what is not ridiculous, but what is something that, like, I can actually do that's going to change my heart in preparation for the Christmas season, and, like, sacrifice for him. Like, something that I struggle with, like you said. It's such a beautiful thing to think about. The Three Kings. That was fire when you brought that up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. But Bible time.
Bible time.
Bible. We're gonna pull up. This is gonna be from Luke. And this is gonna be about the actual birth of Jesus.
Yeah.
You got it, Steph.
Man, all right. If I stutter, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
All right. So this is according to the Gospel of Luke. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, and Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave birth to her firstborn, a son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a manger, because there was no guest room available for them. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger." Suddenly a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about his child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherd returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told.
That's a joyous reading. I don't know. I just hear it. I'm just like, oh, so I love. It's just so wholesome. That's I think like the word for it. But yeah, I always like the thing that stands out for it is just like, almost like. He was born in like a dirty like farm, like.
The humility of it.
Yeah, the humility. Like, I've worked on a farm before. It doesn't smell good. Like, it's not nice. Like, hay is really itchy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And honestly, like, most people are allergic to, like, hay more than, like, anything. Like,
Really?
It is so abrasive, too. It's really not a good time. And gets in your shoes. Oh, it's terrible.
What did you do on this farm?
I was an animal caretaker.
Wow.
Anyway. But it's just as a whole. But, you know, it's just, like, the shepherds are coming, and they're like, you know, let's glorify the Lord, and we're gonna just like do this, right? This is the Messiah, and he was just born here, which in like this dirty farm. I'm just like, what? I don't know. It always puts a smile on my face when I hear it. But
yeah, the humility in that story of the Lord is really one of us is so beautiful. Like, that is worse than like how most of us were born. You know, it's dirtier. It's like less of a big deal. You know, everyone comes to the hospital nowadays bringing giant balloons and like stuffed animals for this newborn who like definitely doesn't even know you're there. But he's in a manger on a farm. It's dirty, and that's how the Lord decided to show up in human form, and it's just so cool. But I think another important thing about Advent is, who is Jesus? Like, where did he come from? What's his lineage like? I think it doesn't get glossed over, but I forget about it a lot. And it's actually like mentioned in 3 of the Gospels. Kind of. Definitely 2 of them.
Definitely 2.
Yeah. The other one is an opinion kind of thing.
Yeah, it's up to interpretation.
Yes. So in Luke, the gospel we just read, Luke actually brings Jesus' genealogy all the way back to Adam. And it's really cool if you want to look it up. But he brings it back all the way to Adam because he's connecting Jesus to all of humanity in his genealogy, which I think that's just the coolest thing ever. But Matthew takes him all the way back to Abraham, and that has to do with just like who they thought the Messiah would be, descendant of David, and he just like wanted to prove it up to there. Matthew is like obsessed with like the technicality in prophecy. So like things happen in the Old Testament, Matthew's like, yes, like he just like lines it up perfectly so that Jesus is like at the end, he's fulfilled all of these tiny minor things that were prophesized, which is also super cool. But then the one that is a little up for interpretation, John in the beginning of his gospel talks about the Word and the light from God, and basically Jesus is directly from God. He is one and the same, and all things flow through him, through the Father, and he brings his like it's a beautiful passage. It's one of my favorite passages to read. Also, it's used in exorcisms, which is so cool, if you didn't know that. But yeah, so all 3 of them talk about where Jesus came from in slightly different ways, but at the end of the day, he is the Messiah. He is the Christ, and he is coming. And so Advent, we are preparing. So we just also want to mention some stuff that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, also just going back, also we heard it in Luke, like the angels came, it's like, this is the Messiah, and so
yeah,
like, they just like laid down straight facts.
Yeah, when the Lord speaks that clearly, you're just like, all right,
okay, sounds good. But what not to do during Christmas or during this Advent season? Don't just like go to church on Christmas. Like, this is a time of preparation, and also have it like your Christmas like oriented right. It's great with the gift giving and the decorations. There's a lot of happiness and joy with it, but it's like it's geared away from something that is just so beautiful, and it's just always like good to make sure that how are you orienting yourself during this season? Are you just getting caught up in all just giving the gifts and like decorating, or are you like focused on what it truly is, like what we've already like talked about earlier within this podcast, which is very important. It's very important.
Yeah, I think a huge thing with orienting yourself properly is focus on the humility in the gospel stories on his birth, and just his life in general. There's so much humility in that, and I think with the Christmas season, all the songs, all the music and the decorations and like the joy, it's often rooted in something that's the opposite of humility, and it can be very distracting from our purpose of we're trying to fix our lives right now a little bit so that we are more ready for the presence of the Lord in our lives. And that means that it's a great opportunity to go to church more often than normal. If you only go on Sunday, maybe like add a day that you go to daily mass, or like if you don't pray, like pray. I don't know. It's a time for you to fill your life not with like the Christmassy things, but with things that are actually holier than before. But that's not to say that you shouldn't just, like, if you're gonna go to mass on Christmas, go to mass on Christmas. Like,
yeah, of course.
please. It's a huge. I know that a lot of people like will be like, oh my gosh, shame on the people who only show up Easter and Christmas, but it's still like really touching when people show up
That like don't go to church.
Yeah, that don't go to church on a
consistently.
regular basis.
Yeah.
Like something is stirring in their heart, and they like feel obligated to go, and that's really beautiful, and like you can grow so much from that.
Yeah, and we're also not saying be a Scrooge.
Oh
Like,
yeah, please. I'm singing Christmas music.
yeah, like it's totally okay to like be totally within the Christmas, just listen to music for 7 hours. That's okay. It's just as long as you have like the orientation and like the backing of it initially.
Yeah.
And then you can like,
Everything you do should point you a little bit to Christ. Like nothing you do should be like ignoring him. And so with that, we just want to encourage, basically ask some questions. Like, how do you want to start this new liturgical year? You know, normal New Year's, we have resolutions. Like, is this the time for a resolution? Is this a time to make a change that you're hoping to carry through until, and probably, and maybe for the rest of your life, but at least until the next liturgical year? Is it a fast? Is it just like a new practice that you want to do? Do you want to start going to Mass on Sunday? I don't know. But how do you want to ring the new year out? And basically do what you gotta do to prepare best. We know ourselves best. Like Lucas can't pick what my fast is gonna be because I know my heart and God knows my heart, and like what he says might be good, but it's not gonna be what I need.
yeah, I don't know Steph's heart.
Yeah, and it's okay.
and that's okay, and I live with that. No, that it's okay. But yeah, for sure, it's this is a season of joy, and I think that's really at the root of it. And just like, you know, like preparing with prayer, like it sounds like a task, but actually if it's not stemming from the joy, just like slow down, take a deep breath. And like balance it out. Don't make this feel like a chore. And it's like this one of the key things with fasting. Everyone's like, oh, I can't do this, and they start complaining about it. If it just brings you down, then this fast is not giving you the joy and preparing you for the season correctly.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to put you down, but it's just like encouragement. Just like if that is happening to you, just like take a deep breath, take a quick second, be like, all right. Hold up. What am I doing?
Yeah, at the end of this, you should be more joyful than what you started.
Oh, for sure. I'm starting pretty joyous, so already going in. Like,
yeah, you got a high bar to reach.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to hold this up. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, you gotta hold the high up.
But we're going. I'm ready. I'm definitely entering this season more than any season. I didn't do any preparation for Advent until last year, and I really didn't have such an appreciation for the season. So definitely going to my second year of really like truly celebrating this. I'm really hyped. I'm so hyped.
Nice. Wow. Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited to see what my fast is gonna be. I'm very curious and see how it'll go.
You probably should figure it out sooner.
I know. I tried a little bit this morning. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You gotta it's a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, it's all right.
But I'm looking forward to how yours is gonna go. I'm curious at the end to find out what you're filling your time with.
I'll definitely keep you guys up to
Yeah.
date. I'll keep everyone letting you know like just like the glory and what's been going on. But yeah, that's all we have for today. Like I start not speaking at the end. It's all right. Well,
that means it's time.
yeah, it's. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit more and more. That means it's time for us to go.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in again.
Yeah, happy Advent.
Happy Advent. Happy Christmas soon.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But definitely, I hope you guys are having a very joyous time. And definitely spend time with your family. Very family time.
Yeah.
I mean, just as we heard in the reading, the Holy Family, it became one at that point. Time for us to become more one with our family. Bye, everyone.
Bye.